At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister stood up and said, "We voted, and you're not part of the family anymore." Everyone started clapping. I just chuckled and said, "Then I guess you won't be needing this," as I placed a folder on the table. The second she opened it, she started screaming. "Before we carve the turkey," Natalie said, standing with that fake smile she always wears, "we have something to say." The room went quiet. People froze mid-bite. I felt it in my stomach. I knew that tone. It was the same one she used when she got me grounded at 14 for a party I never even went to. "We had a family vote," she said, looking around like she was about to win a pageant. "And we've decided you're not part of this family anymore." Silence, then cheering. My cousin Laura clapped like she was at a concert. Uncle Mitch raised his wine glass in a toast. Even my mom laughed and said, "Well, someone had to say it." I just stared at my plate. The stuffing was cold, but I felt my blood boiling. My dad didn't even look at me. He just took a sip of beer and muttered, "It's probably for the best." "Wow," I said as I slowly pushed my chair back. "You guys actually planned this." Natalie smiled even wider. "You've been toxic for years. We're just done pretending." "You're not family," my mom added casually while reaching for the cranberry sauce like we were just chatting about the weather. It was unanimous. I looked around. Not one person spoke up for me. "Good," I said quietly. Then I pulled a thick folder out of my bag and set it gently in the middle of the table. It made a heavy thunk that cut through the laughter. Natalie blinked. "What is that?" I leaned back, arms crossed. "Why don't you take a look?" She grabbed it, opened it, already smirking like she'd won. Then she turned the first page. Her smile vanished, her face went pale. She flipped to the next page. Then the next. And then she screamed. Not just a yell, a full-on horror movie scream. She jumped up so fast her chair fell over and slammed the folder shut like it had burned her. "You monster," she shouted. "You messed up freak." Gasps went around the table. Her husband Joel picked up the folder and flipped through it. His jaw dropped. "Is this real?" he asked. I nodded. Every word, every receipt, every screenshot. Silence. You could hear a fork drop in the kitchen. My mom opened her mouth, then shut it again, speechless. "You all thought I'd never stand up for myself," I said, slowly rising to my feet. "You thought I'd stay quiet, the doormat, the one who always helps, always pays. But not anymore." I leaned in close to Natalie. "Your little performance. It's over. You want to know what was in that folder? I'll get to that, but first, let me explain how we got here." Because Natalie didn't just wake up one day and decide I wasn't family. This was years in the making, brick by brick, comment after comment, betrayal after betrayal. I was never the favorite. Natalie was the golden child, good grades, big smile, knew how to charm everyone. She could lie to your face and somehow make you thank her for it. Me, I was quiet, kept to myself. They hated that. Thought I was weak. I moved out at 19, paid for college on my own, worked 2 jobs, never asked for help. Meanwhile, Natalie flunked out twice, went to Europe to find herself, then married Joel, the walking LinkedIn profile in a blazer. I even paid for half their wedding. My parents couldn't afford it, but still somehow went on a cruise right after. I didn't complain. I never did. Even when they called me the family accountant, I kept helping, paid for Dad's dental surgery, sent money when Mom said the heat was off, even helped pay for cousin Laura's college when she didn't get her scholarship. Sure, they said thank you, but it was always with that tone. The part that really got to me, it was when someone said, "Well, of course you'd help. You don't have a family of your own." And maybe that's what broke me. I'm single. No kids, no partner, just me, my job, and my dog. And to them, that meant I had nothing better to do than pay for their problems. Especially Natalie. She treated me like her safety net. When Joel lost his job, guess who she called first? Just a small loan. When her car broke down, you make 6 figures, what's 2 grand? When her kid needed therapy and insurance wouldn't cover it, yep, she called me again. And I always helped, always, because I told myself it's family. But helping turned into an obligation, then into an expectation, and finally, into a demand. It started small, little jabs at dinner. "Oh, you brought wine. Must be nice to afford the good stuff. Of course you're early. You don't have kids. I wish I could work late and avoid my husband too." Then it got cruel. "You're so cold. Maybe that's why you're still alone. You don't understand real stress. You don't have a real life. You're just bitter that no one needs you. But the truth is they did need me. Constantly, quietly, especially when it came to money. Then came the text from Natalie. Hey, can you co-sign a small business loan? Joel and I want to open a wellness cafe. I replied, no. She shot back, wow, really? And then, silence. That was 3 months ago. Since then, everyone started shutting me out. Mom stopped calling. Dad only sent one-word texts. No one invited me to the last family dinner. Natalie blocked me on social media and then posted about cutting out toxic people. But I didn't sit around feeling sorry for myself. Instead, I started pulling receipts. Literal receipts, because I keep records. Bank transfers, emails, screenshots, dates. I'm not stupid. In just the past 5 years alone, I'd sent over $78,000 to family. $8,000 for Joel's rehab. $2,300 for Natalie's emergency dental work, which turned out to be veneers. $1,500 for Dad's back surgery. $12,000 for Mom's credit card debt. $6,000 for Laura's college move-in. $4,500 for a so-called family emergency that was actually a vacation to Cabo. Not once, not a single time did anyone offer to pay me back. They just took. And the moment I stopped giving, I became the problem. So I made a folder. Inside, I included every bank transfer, every request for money, screenshots of texts. Proof Natalie called me manipulative because I wouldn't co-sign the loan. A timeline of every major payment. Screenshots of posts where they made fun of me online. A private comment thread where Natalie called me a cash cow with no spine. She didn't know I could see it. That's what Natalie saw when she opened the folder. That's why she screamed. She wasn't just exposed, she was torn apart, line by line. The rest of the family just sat there, shocked. My mom looked like she might faint. Joel stared at the part that said $4,200 used for a hotel in Santa Monica with someone named Alyssa. He looked up. What is this? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. For once, I didn't have to defend myself. I just let the truth sit there. Mom finally spoke, her voice shaky. You kept records of everything. I turned to her, calm. Someone had to. You never remembered. Natalie was still standing, pale, fists clenched. Her eyes darted between Joel, me, and the folder. This is a violation, she snapped. You had no right to. No right, I said, slowly standing. You just stood up in front of everyone and said I wasn't family. You clapped. And now you're mad that I came prepared. Joel flipped another page. What's this about Santa Monica? He asked, voice sharp. Natalie's head snapped toward him. Don't start. Who's Alyssa? He pressed. Why were you at a hotel for 3 nights using my credit card? She didn't say a word. Then my mom jumped in, hands raised. Can we all just calm down and be reasonable? Sure, I said. Let's be reasonable. Let's talk about the time you called me a parasite while you were cashing the check I sent you. She blinked. That's not fair. We were under a lot of stress. No, I snapped. You were under stress, and I helped you every single time. The one time I say no, suddenly I'm the bad guy. My dad, who'd been silent the whole time, finally spoke. You're making this into something bigger than it is. I turned to him. My voice was low and steady. You let them treat me like this for years. You saw it. You heard it. And you stayed quiet because it was easier than standing up to them. He didn't argue. He didn't even look me in the eye. Then Natalie slammed her hand on the table. You're just bitter because nobody needs you anymore. Wrong, I said coldly. I'm not bitter. I'm done. She let out a sarcastic laugh. You're pathetic. You bring a folder, print out screenshots. You think that makes you some kind of victim. It just proves you're a control freak. And you, I said, just proved that you only cared about me when I was paying your bills. You don't get to play the victim, she snapped. You chose to help. No one forced you. Yeah, I said, stepping closer. But you expected it, every time, until it wasn't help anymore, it was duty. And when I stopped, you threw me out. My voice cracked not from sadness, but from pure anger. You didn't want a brother. You wanted a wallet with legs. Joel stood up now, holding the folder. Is this true? He asked Natalie. All of this. Natalie looked at him, and for once, she didn't have a snappy answer. No fake crying. No twisting the story. Just silence. You lied to me, Joel said. About the hotel, the money, about him. You made me think he was crazy. I had to, she snapped. He was turning everyone against me. I wasn't, I said. You did that all by yourself. The room went quiet again. Then my mom leaned in, trying one last time. Her voice was softer now. Sweetheart, we may have overreacted. But we're still your family. Families fight. Let's just move on. I shook my head. You're not hearing me. She blinked. What? I'm not asking for peace. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm telling you I'm done. Natalie rolled her eyes. Oh, please. You've said that before. I looked her straight in the eye. Not like this. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out another envelope. My dad sighed. What now? I tossed it on the table. Joel grabbed it before it slid off. He opened it, read the first line, and froze. What is this? He asked. I answered for him. Power of attorney for mom revoked. Medical proxy revoked. Emergency contact removed. I've signed the forms. I am legally and emotionally no longer responsible for any of you, my mother gasped. You're cutting ties, completely, I said. Starting now. You're being selfish, she said, her voice cracking. We made mistakes, but we're still your family. I looked at her one last time, calm and certain. No, you're not. I grabbed my coat, turned, and walked out the door. Left them sitting there at Thanksgiving dinner stunned, surrounded by cold food and hard truths. I didn't look back, not because it didn't hurt. It did. But as I closed the door, stepped off that porch, and into the cold night, I felt something I hadn't felt in years, relief. I didn't drive straight home. I stopped at a lake near where Dad used to take me fishing. I sat there quietly, staring at the still water. For once, there was no guilt, no pressure, no one waiting on me, just silence. The next day, nothing. The day after that, still nothing. Then on the third day, the messages started. First my mom missed calls, then a voicemail. You really mean it? We were angry, but we're still your family. I didn't respond. Then Natalie. You don't even realize what you've done. Joel's filing for divorce. Are you happy? There's something seriously wrong with you. Then my dad. You went too far. We all said things we regret. But what you did, that was nuclear. Your mother's a wreck. Come fix this. I didn't reply to any of them. And the strange thing is I thought I'd feel guilty, but I didn't. I thought I'd toss and turn at night, wondering if I'd gone too far. But instead, I slept better than I had in years. There was no more second-guessing every text, no more waiting for the other shoe to drop, and no more late-night Venmo requests or guilt trips disguised as emergencies. For the first time in a decade, I could hear myself think. I started waking up early, going for runs, brewing coffee slowly. I made appointments I'd put off for years: dentist, doctor, even a therapist. Not because I was broken, but because I was finally allowed to take care of myself. I rewrote my emergency contacts, removed my parents, changed my passwords, froze every joint account they had access to, and blocked Natalie on every platform. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about closure. A week after Thanksgiving, I got a text from Laura, my cousin who had cheered when they voted me out. I didn't know you paid for my tuition. I'm sorry. I followed the crowd. You were always the one who actually helped. I didn't answer, but I read it twice. Then, another surprise, a message from Joel. I filed the papers. Everything in that folder checked out. She cheated, lied, manipulated. Not just you. Me too. He added, you did the right thing. I should have left sooner. A few days later, I did something I hadn't done in years. I applied for a job in another city. Not because I was running, but because I was finally free. No more you should stay close to home. No more who will take care of them if you leave. I started reconnecting with friends I hadn't seen in years, people I'd pulled away from because I was always too busy with family. And the wildest part, some of them had seen my post on Reddit. They reached out just to say, we're proud of you. That was brave. No one asked for money. No one guilted me. No one tried to spin it, just support. Simple, honest, clean. Someone asked me, don't you regret it? I thought for a second, then said, I only regret not doing it sooner. I thought that was the end. And in a way, it was, but with people like them, nothing ever ends cleanly, especially when they start to feel the consequences of your absence. The first few weeks after Thanksgiving were quiet, beautifully, eerily quiet. No calls, no guilt, just peace, until Christmas. On December 22nd, I got a text from my mom. It was a picture of their living room stockings hung, a half-decorated tree in the center, and a massive empty space where they usually stacked the presents. The caption said, "It doesn't feel the same without you. Ellie keeps asking why Uncle isn't coming this year." I stared at it for a long time. No apology, no ownership. Just the same manipulative undertone. "Look what you've done. Look who you're hurting." I didn't reply. On December 23rd, Natalie tried calling. I let it ring out. Then, she sent a message. "I know I messed up, but you don't have to punish everyone. Just come by for Ellie. She misses you." 2 minutes later, another text. "Also, Mom and Dad are behind on their mortgage. I know you don't care anymore, but the bank called today. I thought you'd want to know." There it was, the ask. Always hidden in guilt, always covered in fake softness, but always ending the same way, with a request. I blocked the number. On December 24th, another text from Dad. "You made your point. We get it, but enough is enough. We need help. We're still your blood." That night, I sat alone by the fireplace with a glass of wine. I looked around my small apartment. No tree, no noise, just me and the silence they always said would destroy me. And for the first time in my life, I was thankful for that silence. But it didn't end there. In January, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I picked up out of habit. "Is this Daniel?" A man's voice asked. "Yes. Who's calling?" "My name is Mark," he said. "I'm calling on behalf of your father. He mentioned you're the primary executive of the family trust." I froze. "I revoked that role 2 months ago," I said. "It was finalized by the family attorney. My name is off everything." The man paused. "I see. Your father said he couldn't reach you directly and asked me to explore options." They were in a bind, of course. Natalie and my parents had run out of options. The safety net was gone. Now, they were getting creative. I hung up without another word. But the final straw came in February. I got an envelope in the mail, handwritten, no return address, but I recognized my mother's handwriting instantly. Inside was a letter, 3 pages. The first page was all about regret. "We said things in anger. You've always been the strong one. We never realized how much we leaned on you." The second page turned to guilt. "Your father's health isn't good. Natalie's completely alone now. We're worried about Ellie. She's struggling." The third page was the hook. "We're selling the house, but we're underwater on the mortgage. We just need a little help to get through this. Then we'll never ask again. Please, Daniel, do it for your father. Do it for the family." I sat with the letter for a while, letting myself feel everything they wanted me to feel. The weight of responsibility, the sting of obligation, the aching need to fix what was broken. Then I folded the letter, got up, walked to the kitchen, and tossed it in the trash. The truth is, they weren't asking for help. They were asking for access again. They didn't want me back in the family. They wanted the version of me who didn't say no, the one who paid silently, sacrificed silently, suffered silently. But that version of me is gone. I'm not their scapegoat anymore. I'm not their golden goose. I'm not the duct tape holding a broken house together. I am done. And the most terrifying part for them, I'm doing just fine without them. I got a new job, moved to a new city, a bigger place, a clean slate. I started volunteering on weekends, not because anyone needed me, but because I wanted to. I built a life where no one calls me at 11 p.m. to cover a mistake they refuse to own, where I'm not punished for being independent, where kindness isn't used as leverage. I don't regret helping them, but I do regret how long it took me to stop. You want to know what real peace feels like? It's not being surrounded by family. It's being free from people who only call you family when they need something. Update. Months later, I didn't think this post would get attention. Honestly, I just needed to say it, to put it somewhere. But I read every comment. People said I was brave. They don't deserve you. Thank you. I didn't know how much I needed to hear that until I did. And of the few who asked, "But what if they change?" I've asked myself that too. It's been a few months now. They didn't change. After the first cut them off, after the folder, after the screaming, and the silence, and the letters, I thought maybe, just maybe, someone would get it. that they'd reflect. That they'd say, "We're sorry." They didn't. They got quiet for a while, then strategic, then desperate, then ugly again. But me, I got free. Since then, I moved to a new place, got a job that doesn't keep me up at night, started therapy, real therapy, the kind where you stop trying to fix everyone else and finally learn how to sit with yourself. I cook for myself now, I sleep better, I go outside more. I don't flinch when the phone buzzes. And yeah, sometimes I think about Ellie, about what she's being taught, about what she grew up believing is normal. But I also know this: I was the example of someone who finally said enough. A few days ago, I got another letter, handwritten from my mom. It was 3 words: "We're still family." No context. No apology, no change, just the same old hook. And for the first time, I didn't feel anything. No anger, no sadness, just nothing. I threw it away and made dinner. So now I'm back here because this place gave me a kind of clarity I didn't expect. Strangers saw me clearer than my own blood ever did. Here's what I want to ask: did I do the right thing cutting them off, dropping the weight, saying no and meaning it? Was I too cold, or was I finally just done being the only one holding it all together? I don't know, but I do know this: for the first time in my life, I'm not surviving. I'm living. Thanks for reading. Still listening.